So the first person who told me that I should share my story was a nurse. And I said, "What story?" She then gave me one of those "you've got to be kidding me" looks. So I sarcastically then said, "Sure. Let me tell everyone about how I hate doing anything before I brush my teeth in the morning, and how sometimes at night, right after I take off my cochlear implant, I start singing in the bathroom and forget that other people in my house, can still hear me, and it's always super embarrassing." Somehow, I still haven't learned that lesson. At that point, I think she just gave up and resorted to, "Well, just think about it." So I did. And every time I thought about my story and how to go about it, nothing seemed right. Besides, why would anyone want to listen to my story? What is so special about it? And then it hit me. Nothing. Absolutely nothing is so special about my story. And that is exactly why I need to share it. We all have a story to tell, and my story isn't much different than yours. Life is basically a big fill-in-the-blank worksheet. So let me share a few of my fill-in-the-blanks with you. First of all, my name is Julia. My favorite color is purple. I'm a senior in high school. I live at home with my parents and my 3 younger siblings, Tim, Jack, and Annie, and my service dog, Missy. My favorite ice cream flavor is coffee. My favorite musical and movie is Mamma Mia. In the past 3 years, I have spent hundreds of days in the hospital, which, by the way, if you're looking for a destination retreat that has 5-star room service, I highly recommend Lurie Children's Hospital. I really hate pizza and fuzzy socks. I know, bear with me, I'm quite controversial. Now, these fill-in-the-blanks are our own personal experiences, which makes each of our lives unique. And I'm not here with some earth-shattering message that is going to make you think of life on a whole other level. I just want to share with you a glimpse of my perspective. My perspective is that all of our stories have equal value. And just because our stories are different than each other doesn't necessarily mean they're that different. I remember one of my first hospital admissions. I received a very well-meaning, genuine card that said, "Dear Julia, I hope you're cured so you can have a good life." And there were some more kind words to that card. But the first line of the card really got me thinking. It was as if all those pitiful smiles I received constantly from adults were summed up perfectly by a kind child who wrote exactly what they, and apparently a lot of other people, were thinking. And that's when I realized that a lot of people, whether that be strangers or close friends, thought that my medical conditions somehow dimmed the quality of my life and made it more challenging than theirs. And I am only speaking from my experience and my perspective, but for me, I do not feel that is the case. So why is it that I was told to share my story? And why is it that people tell me, "You have such a positive attitude"? Well, I know why. It is because there is this weird stigma in society. Okay, let me take that back. There are many weird stigmas in the society we live in, but I'm specifically talking about the one that if someone is struggling medically speaking, somehow that struggle is worse or harder than something non-medical. It's like when people meet me, they expect me to outwardly present with this dismal outlook on life. People are more sympathetic towards you if they can visibly see you have a disability. And let me preface this by saying that I am very, very human. So therefore, there are plenty of moments where I don't feel like giving a TED Talk about how to have a positive attitude and how we should compare each other's challenges, and instead need to be the recipient of someone else's wise words of positivity. And although I've been told I don't have a poker face to save my life, I'm also not one to wear my feelings on my sleeve. But when people tell me in that somewhat surprised, somewhat admiring, somewhat questioning tone, you have such a positive attitude, what I want to say is, well, yes, why are you even commenting in the first place? And why do you seem so surprised? I have a positive attitude because I really love my life. I love it when I fall over from laughing so hard and wind up on the floor completely out of breath. I love it when a stranger smiles as we are passing each other on the street. I love when my mom squeezes a half a lemon into our kitchen sink and it makes the whole kitchen smell like lemon. I love when my best friend does spontaneous things, like the time she left my house and not 60 seconds later rang my doorbell telling me she could stay for a few more hours. I love when I play Uno Attack and you press that button that releases the cards and no cards come out. Oh, in dance class, I love when my wheels spin and glide across the smooth floor and spin in a perfect circle right on time with the beat. I love the countless moments where all I feel is gratitude. Pure gratitude. Now, none of these things seem out of the ordinary, do they? I bet you, as I was listing some of the things I love, you thought at some point, me too. Yes, I use wheels of some form to get around. Big deal. I'm getting where I need to go, just like you are. And yes, it's different than you or I are used to, but just because I seem to be enjoying my life at the moment doesn't mean I'm more inspirational than the person next to me. And I use technology to hear. Actually, for this one, I should be saying sorry for your loss. I mean, it seriously must stink not to be able to just mute the world anytime you want to. How do you do that? In the world we live in, that seems nearly impossible. In fact, I think you are all very inspirational for not breaking down into tears every time you think about the fact that you're not deaf. Now, doesn't that seem just a little extreme on my part? Yes. So now, let's think about that in reverse. Am I inspirational that I can mute the world and get where I want to be? No, I didn't think so. I'm simply living my life just as you are. Yes, my experiences are different than yours, just as every other person you have ever met in your life. And you know what? Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really, really hard. But we can all say that We all have hard and tough parts of our life. And just because you can see that I have a mobility device, how I told you earlier, I've spent a lot of time in hospitals, that doesn't mean that that is any harder, deserves more of your sympathy than anyone else's various challenges. So please, before you show up to my hospital room with flowers, go give flowers to your coworker whose kid just left for college, or your roommate who got a 1 on the AP test after spending months studying. That being said, though, we really can't say that this is harder than that. 1, because situations aren't comparable. And 2, because everyone's hard looks different to them. And everyone's hard is hard. And yes, sometimes I face problems that you don't, but you face problems that I don't. Like when you get tired and you need a break, you actually have to walk to the nearest bench to sit down. I mean, quite frankly, I literally have it so much easier. I come with my own portable seat and voila. That being said, though, sometimes I find myself jumping to a subconscious conclusion about a person that I know nothing about, and that is not fair to them. And it's also not fair to me either. But for me, I find comfort in the fact that every stranger I meet is living a shared human experience alongside me. So I work on recognizing that because we are living a shared human experience, we are much more alike than different. And I love every second of this experience I'm living. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I love what sometimes those seconds contain, but I love that I get that second. And that is why I am grateful. I am grateful for the love and the joy that coexist with the hurt and the messy in this beautiful human experience we are embracing together. This is how I chose to author my story. How are you, all of you, going to author yours? Thank you for listening.